Hello everybody, this is Julie from Julie Legate Art. Thank you for joining me. I have decided to join in with Roxycreations my Book of Stitchery. I've done my cover and it is quite light coloured actually, because that's what I thought I'd do this time. And you can see my little Book of Stitchery there in the middle. I've used a little bit of machine stitching on this to get some panelling in. I did a nice piece of vintage, I suppose crochet really rather than lace, with tassels on, and I've just done some back stitching around the circles at the bottom, and I've got some vintage pieces of fabric on the back. That you can see those there, and the light's not affecting it too much. That's a piece of Japanese silk, and that's just a piece of old curtain there. Now I've done mine double folded over, and I'm not quite sure that I'll be putting mine in the book in quite the same way as Roxy, but I'm going to make a decision on that. Now I haven't done the pages of sample stitches that have been demonstrated, and there is a reason for that. I have done quite a few stitch books, and I'm going to show you one I did last year. Well, I did it first year of the pandemic, and I was part of a stitch group called Untitled Threads, which is based in Scarborough in the UK. And for this we made a stitch book, and this is my stitch book, which I've been put together. You can see it's quite a lot of pages, and it was all beaded and put together, and it has little tags on so that it can be hung like that. It's a bit hard for me to show you because I'm a bit close to the camera, but that's how they were displayed, because it was exhibited at the Knitting and Stitching Show at Harrogate in November last year. Basically, I'm just going to show you the pages, and we did a lot of stitching practice. So I did lots of stitching and different stitches for that, you can see, and lots of different techniques, pleating and stitching and using netting and different types of stitching. I'm going to go through the book. I'm not going to explain everything that I did, but this is my stitch book that I have recently done. A lot of fabric dyeing, which I like to do now, and lots of small stitching, you can see there. This is Jaqui, which is like a papery sort of type of, I suppose, fabric, and that was shrunk, and there's little holes in them. Did lots of stitching on that, and some more Jaqui there as well. And this was fabric dyeing and actually ripping the fabric up and putting it back together again. I'm just wondering whether this is a little bit close to the camera. Let me just move that out of the way that I'm using. That might be a little bit easier. There we go. And that was some more dyeing, some different techniques. And this was actually using cutting out bits of fabric and stitching it all together and putting transfer pieces on. And that was transferring words and things. That was patching and darning, and that was onto wool. And that was some more patching and darning, and that was using lots of silk fabrics to do that one. Some more organic sort of looking stitching. Now this one, let me just have a look. I've forgotten what the paper's called. So let me see in a minute. Oh yeah, let me find that one again. I don't know if you've heard of Tyvek paper, but this was all done using Tyvek paper. I actually used paint and things on that, and then I've stitched into it with beads and different stitches. That's another Tyvek. You can hear that how rough it is. So I did put a lot of netting over that and did a lot of beads. This was a special sort of felt that you can actually melt down and put on and curl. That was very enjoyable, and that's quite nice and bright. That was another one using the same techniques. That was just doing couching, so a lot of wording with couching. And that was a couch piece. We designed our own, being influenced by the Bayeux tapestry type of techniques. So that was enjoyable. This is slashing the fabric, so it's layering fabric and slashing it. And then that was another one that was slashed, just using all cream and beige sort of fabrics. And we did weaving. These are all weaved pieces. And then that's another stitch piece on the back, similar to the front, so it's all very busy. But it's because I've done these stitch books that I'm not doing pages of stitches, but what I've decided to do on my pages, and I'll show you as I go along, is to do some Elizabethan stitches. Now this is a book I got, I think the light's a bit bright there, a couple of years ago, to be honest, and it's called Elizabethan Stitches, and it's by Jaqui Carey, and it's a guide to historic English needlework. And it's a wonderful book. It gives you all these Elizabethan stitches. Now I haven't done much Elizabethan stitching, if any, but the stitches are just wonderful, and there's a lot of very different stitches in this book, and I thought I might do some stitch pages with some of these gorgeous stitches on, a bit like this gold work here. I'm sorry about the light, it seems to be glaring on the book, but as you can see, there's quite a lot for me to do in different sorts of stitches. So that is the plan, is to follow some of the historic stitches in this book. Before I go, this is just another little stitch book that I did this as a sample piece that just shows that you can put anything together. I did a fabric cover and made this a bit like a loose leaf stitch book, and I do sell these stitch books on my website, but what you do is you put in like a binded piece, strips of fabric, and then as you do your pages separately you add them on. So just give you a quick look at this stitch book that I completed, and this is all very variable stitch pieces. That one's a plique cotton. It was just running stitch all the way through, but as you can see they're all very different. And these are things when I've just sat of an evening and just done a piece of stitching, just because I have this thing where at 9 o'clock in the evening I do sit down and stitch. Presently I have got the Circle of Friends project on, so that's keeping me very busy. It's a nice little square piece there. But you know, I ended up thinking, what shall I do with all my little stitch pieces? And I thought, oh, I'll put them into a stitch book. So I look forward to showing you my Elizabethan stitches as I go along with them. See what you think and see whether you can follow them. Okay, thank you for watching.